everyone. I'm Sunny.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rox. And this is
Literature on the Rocks.
Hey.
Book club! We joke about the fact that Rox doesn't move on camera very much. And during that opening scene,
I did a little wiggle.
You did wiggle a little bit. We're like, She was like,
I don't know if I'm a stoic person in real life, but I guess I am on the podcast.
I'm learning so much about you.
It's just putting us in a new environment.
So what's new with you guys?
So I was having a conversation with my oldest. Every now and then we have a you can ask me anything you want conversation. And this sweet baby child decided to ask me, when you're reading a fantasy book, because she just started reading this series called Wings of Fire.
Oh.
And she was like, how long does it take you to think of the world that they're building?
She's my child. She gets me. What was her response about learning the worlds and stuff?
This book that the series she was reading, she was like, I had a hard time thinking about it. So it wasn't until book 2, she's on the third one, that I started to be able to picture it in my mind.
Same, baby girl. Same.
I want to talk about that actually for a second, because I was just telling someone when I was younger, I think I had a hard time reading Harry Potter because of the world building in it. And it's not that it's difficult, looking at it now and wanting to reread it and looking at some of it, it's like, okay, no, it's not difficult for me now. But back then, I think it was I had no idea how to read fantasy. And for sure, I think you have to read until you make sense of it.
What I do, Basgaia, in my mind, it's Hogwarts. I picture, so I think it's also time getting influenced by other things. And then you just picture it's like Hogwarts, but with dragons and it's more dangerous.
Right.
Honestly,
yeah.
I think that I don't picture anything. I think I picture a scene in a moment, I know they're in a castle, so I just make up a castle in my head.
Yeah.
And then if I think back to one of the fantasy books that we read, I don't remember any of what it really looked like. I'm just placing people with blank backgrounds, I think.
I'm not picturing it a house really at all. I'm picturing it just built into the mountain, the same way that I would imagine the Night Court's, that house.
Oh.
Are you guys talking
Built
about a
into a
series I
mountain.
didn't read?
The Night Court, yes. Well, Basgaia is fourth wing.
Oh.
It's
That's
the
the
war
name
college.
of the school.
Yeah,
I
see?
guess
I don't
actually,
remember
no. The school, yeah, maybe more Hogwartsy, but the specific Dragon Riders quadrant when they have to walk across the parapet into the side of a mountain.
The school itself, I am imagining
Yeah.
Hogwarts, but that part I made up by myself. But it was an extension of Hogwarts, stony walls and.
Well, this is a good conversation just in general about how people really intake the information. I feel like I read Harry Potter and didn't question the environment of the world, but maybe my imagination was better as a kid. And now as an adult, I'm struggling to put this imaginary thing together.
I could potentially just not remember what I was feeling when I was reading Harry Potter, but I can.
So long ago.
Yeah, but I can remember feeling like I was having a hard time understanding or getting into it.
I had a hard time getting into it, and the only reason why I actually read Harry Potter was because a friend's sister had a trivia game. We used to have game nights, and it was the thing where you put a DVD in and it did the video trivia.
Like the Disney
Yes,
one. And
but I don't remember the name of the game. But she had a Harry Potter edition, and the only reason why I read those damn books was because I wanted to whoop her ass at that game, and I won once. So
it worked.
victory.
Yeah, fantasy. It's a bitch.
Not my favorite.
I really like them, but yeah.
I do too. I like them more when there's a big series because it builds more of the world and you get more out of it.
Just give me the world in the beginning so I don't have to work so hard throughout it.
I just go into reading a fantasy book knowing the beginning's going to be rough to understand, but it will clear up. I just got to keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, but we do want to talk about what we learned online this week.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. On social media, we posted our conversation about what the heck is we called it a field cum parking lot.
Fun fact, it's field cum parking lot.
Field cum parking lot. It is Latin and it means with. And we found the definition and it did not register until our friend Kristen on TikTok.
Thank you, Kristen.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Kristen. I'm just going to share her.
I swear we are intelligent people.
But it wasn't it was oh, okay, sure. That makes sense. It's dual purpose.
Yeah,
I got it.
And then I
sure.
read her comment and I was like, oh,
Yes.
shit, that's
And
right.
It made so much more sense. Light bulb.
Yeah. And her comment, boy, was it like a light bulb going off when she said it. It's Latin. Graduating cum laude translates to with honors. Kristen, you changed our lives.
Yes, you did. I feel like I'm going to use that now all the time.
I was trying to fit in. I was actually telling one of the girls I work with, I'm like, I'm going to try and fit it in at work.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm...
Thank you so much for working me.
It is review time around the corner. It's
Yes, we can put them in all of our reviews.
coom you. Coom me.
You need to be better at working the team.
Coom others.
Oh, this is so good. I can't wait
man.
to put this in all my emails.
Every time I use the word with, it's
Yes.
going to look like cum in emails. And I'm going to be like, I didn't put cum, I put coom. What? Dirty bird.
Yeah. Coom regards.
Yes.
Rocks.
Oh, that's going to be my new
But
sign
when
off.
you read it, it's going to look like
Cum regards.
Cum regards rocks. Cum love.
Coom love. Cum love. Rocks.
Why did she just...
I have to, oh my God.
Cum love rocks.
Why did Rox just tell everyone in this corporate email that she loves cum? Okay.
This is a real life email. My boss, years ago when I worked for this other company, we had a building leak and the water was coming in through like the front lobby. And his email said, the water is coming, CUMMING. This was the person who was in charge of my reviews, the person who gets paid more than me.
It was an autocorrect.
Wrote
We
this.
think you meant coming.
Since you use it so often.
It went
Siri
to
suggests.
VPs. It went to
Oh my
vendors.
God.
Like this wasn't just an internal email. This was to fix the hole in the roof.
Oh, no.
I just want to talk about poor wording of emails now. But
Oh, God, seriously.
we had a receptionist a long time ago, and she was responsible for, we get vendors that bring us like poinsettia flowers during the holiday season. And so at the end, we get rid of them. And so she had sent an email to the whole company, also accidentally sending it to a couple of our clients, and sent it to the whole company and said, I will be going around and collecting everybody's placenta. Please let me know if you'd like to keep yours. I was like, yes, I would like to keep my placenta. Oh man, mistakes are funny.
It's probably mortifying in the moment. However, afterward, it's worth it.
For us. Let's get into funny stories.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, first of all, just as a reminder to grab your cocktail. It's an easy one, actually, this one.
Yeah,
So
it was a good one.
it's a perfect one to just grab real quick and hop into our book club with us.
Yeah.
It was 2 ounces of cherry vodka, or regular vodka, really. No one's looking. It's do whatever you want. And
It's a free country.
Dr. Pepper, and then a splash of grenadine with a cherry on top. Easy, straight to the point.
And it's called
The Meet Cute Cola.
Yes.
All right, let's get into these discussion questions. So our first 4 are the same every book, and then we do an additional 3 or 4 that are specific to the book that we're reading. So we're reading Funny Story. First impressions. What were your initial thoughts when you started reading Funny Story? Did the book meet your expectations or surprise you? So it's a contemporary romance. So I felt like I typically enjoy reading these types of books. So
Yeah.
I just figured, I'm going to go into it. And so I didn't have a ton of expectations going into it. But I did feel like it was a nice break, first of all, from the dark books that we were reading. But also, I was surprised about how much I loved it, because contemporary romance, I feel like I like in general. But it's like, that was cute. Now move on. I think about this book all the time. I really liked it. And I'm very excited to watch whenever it comes out, the movie or TV show or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I will enjoy this rom-com.
Yeah.
It's legit a rom-com.
Yes.
Yeah.
Their banter, it's just so much of it I really enjoyed.
Yes. That was my favorite part, I think. The banter.
Yeah. I did like the book. I knew it was a contemporary romance, so I wasn't anticipating anything mind-bending going on in the book.
Right.
But it was fun. It was super funny read, and I was surprised by all of the deep undertones and how they didn't steal away from the fun lightheartedness of the story. Like
That's
the
true, and that's a good
narcissistic
point.
Mom and
Yeah.
all of the trauma that they had.
Well, the fact that it starts off with her fiance leaving her for her best
Right.
friend,
Yeah.
that's sad and dark and deep and
Super deep.
just did get lighter, and that part of it didn't drag down, which is actually I'm just thinking this now. It's all processing in my brain, but it's kind of a beautiful, just our own life can be like that. This is sad and dark and twisted and sucky, but then you needed that in order to find this beautiful piece of your life.
Yes, I agree with you. I think my first impression is very similar to your guys's, because I talked about it being light and it being a good break from the heavy stuff that we were reading prior to this. That was nice. It was a romance. I expected it to be like a romance, but to Rachel's point, I was kind of caught off guard by how deep and dark the relationships really were within the story. The dynamics was what I didn't expect that, right? The family dynamics within the story really were complicated, and it really gave it a relatable feel that I think made it for me. I could put myself in Daphne's shoes and really work through the story with her. So reading it, I felt like I was Daphne. Not that any of this has ever happened to me in my life, but
Still, yes.
But I felt like I was her, so it made the story that much more entertaining because I was seeing everything through her eyes, I felt like.
Yeah.
So that was what caught me off guard. It was good. I liked it. It was cute.
It was super cute. Yeah.
And because I was in her shoes, I think that's why I hated Petra and Peter so much. Seething.
Oh, because you were putting yourself in there.
In her shoes, yeah.
Yeah, she had a way better disposition about it than I would have.
Yes. She's so positive about it the whole time.
But then also so untrusting and so people suck. It's almost like she was like, yeah, I was expecting this.
Yeah.
Maybe she was. I don't know.
Yeah.
Were there any plot points or characters that you felt were left unresolved or could have been explored further? I just wrote, I want to know what other cool places are around Waiting Bay.
Right.
I want to know what other farmers markets, what other little shops. Is there a delicious gelato place there? I want to know.
Did we just figure out, is Waiting Bay a real place?
No,
I know
I think we
we're
looked
going
it
to
up.
look it up, and then I don't think we ever address it.
I don't think we did. However, if it is a real place,
I agree.
it is a cute area.
No, you don't say.
It's so cute.
No, it just felt like it had such good little local
It's a fictional
charm.
town in the novel.
Dang it.
Funny story.
But is it based
It's
on?
inspired by Traverse City and its surrounding areas in Michigan. Isn't that a song? Traverse City.
It is now.
I don't know if it was.
That's their new city theme song that's going to play. You walk into City Hall. Traverse City.
You're welcome, Traverse City.
We need to work out a royalty deal for you.
exactly. It's a beautiful little city.
All right, girls trip 2026.
2026,
Traverse City.
In the summer, during with the lakes and everything. I bet you it's beautiful.
We just walking around with our funny story book in hand.
Thank you. I agree. Let's go to Waiting Bay.
Okay.
All right. Unresolved questions. I don't think that I had much. Just I'm reading my response and I'm second guessing it.
Read
as
it, and we'll second guess it with you.
Oh. I was thinking that maybe knowing a little bit of Daphne's dad's backstory would be interesting, only because he plays such a big part in why she is the way that she is.
Because of his shitty parenting.
Yes, but what made him that way? It had such a big impact on her life. So,
and I think we even exposed that he doesn't even realize he was a shitty dad, right?
No.
He has
Yes.
these totally different memories, recalling them and how great this birthday of hers was. And she's like,
Yes.
I hated that birthday or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
So it just got me thinking that did he even really know that he was an absent father and how much it impacted her life? Did he even have any idea or clue? Not that knowing his backstory would give me sympathy for him because
You're still a shitty dad.
Yeah, you're still a bad dad and I can't feel bad for you about it. Maybe be more aware. But it would have been interesting to see what made him tick and how it led to having this shitty relationship with his daughter.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
My unresolved question is more so about Peter and Petra. Okay, so Daphne did a great job telling Peter she wanted nothing to do with having a relationship with him. However, she's staying in Waiting Bay now, and so is Peter and Petra. Well, I guess I don't know if
We
they
don't
did.
know, yeah.
Right? So there's an unresolved question. I don't know. But what does life in Waiting Bay look like? It's such a small little town. I can't imagine she never. I mean, they went to the lavender farm and ran into Peter. Is it just whatever? Do you still see him and her? And did he go back because Daphne's not going to take me back? I'm just going to go back with Petra. I don't think that it was pertinent to the story.
Right.
Just something I felt like I was curious
I
about.
hope
Yeah.
he is miserable, and every
Yeah.
time he runs into her and Miles, he just
His
remembers.
clothes are falling off of him and a little holy, and he
Yeah,
hasn't
he's
shaved
just
for a while.
destitute.
He's got bags under his eyes.
He's just a homeless man.
He clearly looks like he's suffering.
Yeah, for a full year.
Yeah.
Those are good unresolved questions. I agree. I would like to know what happened
Peter
to
and
them.
Petra still have any sort of role in their life at all? I imagine that they do, but
You do? You think that they still?
no, I said I don't imagine that they do.
Oh, I thought you were like, I
any
imagine that they
role.
do. And I was like,
But I feel like
why?
Peter wasn't gonna just be like, okay, she doesn't want me.
Let me
now.
just
like,
give
I
her
feel
up.
like, yeah, I feel like there's a chance that he might have fought for her, or maybe he did just roll over and go, okay.
Alternate ending. If you could change one thing about the ending of Funny Story, what would it be and why? I went into similar to Sunny's response about Peter and Petra. I would have liked to have known a little bit of what happened to them after. Just thought it would be nice to add it at the end to say, okay, happily ever after, Miles and Daphne, they have their little cottage and life is beautiful. And then Peter and Petra over here panhandling. Like, just give me a little bit of
They
a...
rent the basement downstairs.
Of the cottage.
Yes, they're
They're
sleeping.
out back in a yurt.
They're sleeping in their car. I didn't need a lot of conversation because Miles and Daphne were the focus, but it would have been nice to confirm that their lives sucked. And they ended up alone. They deserved to suffer a little because they were so selfish and unfazed by the fact they completely blew up two people's lives. That was my response.
That part, yeah, for sure. All right, I don't love my alternate ending, and even as I'm writing it, I'll read it to you so you guys can hear my like going back and forth of like, this is what I would have liked. I would have hated it. Daphne takes the dream job. While I hate this idea, if it actually ended this way, I probably wouldn't have liked it as much. However, she's on this journey of self-discovery, and while she may not want to lose Miles, she could still explore this part of her, and she does this long distance things for a while. Maybe stays in contact with her new friends. Eventually, she hates it and goes back home to Waiting Bay.
I didn't even think about that as an option.
Right.
What
But
if
that
not-
would have been good. Like she
Yes.
went and grows by herself and then
Yeah.
comes back and
Which I think was like the point of her, like, I'm not going to live with you. I'm going
Right.
to go move on my own. I still feel like, I know that there was this whole other piece of this puzzle, right? I think I talked about this in a different question. She didn't just find Miles, which is what
Yes.
makes this
Yeah.
ending not great. But because she's not just leaving Miles and finding herself, she's actually leaving a found family and friends that she's created
Yeah.
in a whole community.
A new life that she's created for herself.
Yes.
Right.
But she had this dream job that she got and denied because she was staying
But I feel
behind.
like her job now could turn into her
Oh,
dream
for
job
sure.
because she loves the kids
Yeah.
that she's buying books
I think it's her
for.
dream job because also she loves where she lives and she
Yes.
all that. Yeah. No, I agree. Which is why I'm like, I hate the idea of this ending, but also it is an alternate ending she could do and
Yeah.
learn about herself and find out that this isn't what I want and I prefer the small town life over here. And
Yes.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't mean that they can't be together.
Right.
They could still have ended up together,
Yes.
but there was just more to it, right?
Right.
This would have been a longer book.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
We would have needed a part 2.
Yeah.
No, weird.
I put that I loved the ending and I thought Daphne finally reached a point of peace and healing, but I would have liked, but not in this book I wrote. So perhaps in a sequel. It would be revealed to how her relationship with her dad turns now that she's confronted him and called him out for being
Oh,
a
yeah,
shitty
yeah.
father.
Yes.
Like, does he just throw his hands up and be like, well, you don't like me no more.
Yeah. does he-
Adios.
or does he show up more in her life? and-
Right. Does
and
he make amends?
Which I
Yes,
feel like his
imagine.
relationship with Starfire.
Might help it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Because imagine she confronts him because they don't say really a whole lot about what happens after she confronts him. And he says, oh my God, that's been your narrative this whole time. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that
Yes.
that's what you were experiencing.
I thought you were just a laid back kid who didn't give a shit about me. 'Cause
Yes,
I don't give
yeah.
a shit about you.
I thought you just were happy with the way life was. I didn't think you wanted me around that much.
Right.
And she's like, no, it would have been great if you had been here. And then they have
And
this
on
beautiful
time,
love.
motherfucker.
Yeah. Yes. Do what you say. Yeah.
Follow through. Yeah.
You follow through. God, I hate following through. Just kidding.
That's why we have to chain you
commitments.
here.
That's why I can't leave.
If Funny Story were to be adapted into a movie or TV series, who would you cast in the main roles?
Okay, so I know that you usually look up like their physical features and all that stuff.
There wasn't
how
any.
old? There weren't many, but
There wasn't
how
very many.
old did you think they were?
Late 20s.
Because I looked it
Same.
up.
Late 20s, early 30s.
I
Yeah,
looked it up,
that's
and
what I
according
thought.
to Goodreads, Miles is 36 and Ashley's like in her 40s.
I knew
I
Ashley
believe
was
I
Ashley's
didn't know
older.
that.
I believe Ashley's
Yeah.
older, but Daphne makes a comment about how she's 29 now, and when she says that she wants kids, it's like, well, let's go. Like men think she's like, well, let's go down and freeze some embryos on our first date, and she's like, that's not what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
so I knew I think she's late 20s, early 30s.
So they said Miles
And
was
Miles
like
is older.
36.
Yeah.
And then the thing said that they weren't sure how old Daphne was, so they were thinking around the same age. But if she said she was 29, then
I
obviously
don't-
she is.
She made a
But-
comment about.
Yeah, I didn't know how old they were, so I went off of this quick Google search that they were all in their 30s.
I casted that way too.
Okay.
I eventually just casted. I didn't care anymore.
Yes, just
Okay.
cast who your heart desires.
Which
I want
people
them to
did you
fit
cast?
the vibe. I peopled.
Yes. You people.
I casted Daphne, Miles, Peter, Petra, and Ashley.
That's all I did too.
I did not do Petra.
My Daphne, I casted Anna Kendrick.
I put her in at last minute. I have somebody, and then I wrote all this script, and then I have or in big letters because it
Anna
came at
Kendrick.
the very end. Like I was scrolling through, and I was like, oh my god, that was a good one. Anna Kendrick.
I casted Zendaya.
Oh, Zendaya. Okay.
I mean, she does a good job in Spider-Man. Zendaya.
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
It's like kind of awkward. And so Anna Kendrick was what I thought. Like, she
Yeah.
could definitely play a little bit awkward and book nerd. And
Yes. I had Lizzie Kaplan.
Oh, yes.
She's really evolved as an actress, so I thought she could play, but then I got to Anna Kendrick and thought, oh, that's probably a better one, so I put her in there. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Miles,
I don't think anybody's gonna like mine, but I just really love
all right.
him.
I casted Adam Brody, but I feel like he's
Let me look at him up.
not exactly what I wanted.
I could see that.
Oh, he's the guy in the
Nobody Wants This with Kristen Bell, the newer one.
Such a cute show.
So cute.
Oh, so good.
But he
is
is very-
super endearing in that show.
He is, right?
Yes.
But I wasn't sure if, like, do you look at him and think, yeah, he could be a drug addict? And
No,
maybe he
I don't
could.
think of drug dealer when I look at him.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's because he plays a rabbi in that show,
Yeah.
but I feel like he can be a little bit disheveled and not so put together, but he is very charming.
He's so charming.
Yes. That's why I picked him.
I picked Milo Ventimiglia. He's the dad in This Is Us. He's in
Oh,
his
he's
30s.
not. No, he's
not.
47.
He's
Oh,
47.
well, he was in his 30s at one point.
He was in the Heroes. I think it's called Heroes.
Was
a
he in
long
Heroes?
time
Oh,
ago.
back in the day.
Oh.
I just really love him. I think he's just so sweet. 30s version, which is what I
30s
was
version of
envisioning.
him?
So
Yeah.
yeah, Milo Ventimiglia.
I picked Tyler Blackburn from Pretty Little Liars. He's 38.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Tyler
I won
Blackburn. Okay, so for Peter, the reason why I don't like this one is because I feel like I casted everyone else older, and Peter is very young. My casting.
Oh,
And I also kind of don't like him, but I feel like that's perfect for Peter. Austin Butler.
oh, he is.
He played
young.
Elvis, no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I almost put him, but I thought he looked too young.
He's a little young, but I mean, actually, he's really.
But he's
not.
33.
Yeah,
but
he's
he
not
looks
young.
childlike.
He does. So I don't know if we have to do something to
Old
olden
Austin
him up.
Butler.
But I felt like he had the blonde. He's tall. He's a douche. Perfect.
Okay, I picked Andrew Garfield. I don't know. Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't think
And I
that
don't think he's a
doesn't look
Peter.
like
He's
a
not the
Peter.
Peter in my
Let me
brain.
see. I just felt like I don't know why I pictured Peter like
He
buttoned
looks-
up and like very.
Yeah.
He doesn't give me that though. He looks very like he's
in a
clean
suit.
cut, but he's not like he's gonna be very kind. He's gonna
Well,
help
I
your
think Peter
grandma.
was very kind, but like he's almost too like I want to still hate Peter.
Got it. Okay. All right.
I picked Zac Efron.
He was actually on my list too, but I thought
I don't
yeah,
know
he
if
could
I
be a-
pictured Peter to be super, super attractive.
They say he is.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah,
so
like
then
when
I guess
she-
Zach would kind of work.
Yeah. Okay. I don't like. I mean, I had Zac Efron, but I didn't like him. So to tell you exactly why I didn't like him, I just felt like he was too. I think people will yearn for him more, right? Like if you're casting, you're like, I don't want him to be.
But that's how he got away with all of the shittiness in life. Is that I'm like
He was
no
like
one ever.
attractive.
Yeah, I think
man.
he should be good looking. Again, same. He's almost too likable. I don't know. So
But I feel like he could play a douche.
Yeah, like in Mike and Dave need.
I've
to
never
Work.
seen that, but he's like the
He plays the brother. Him and Adam Devine are brothers, and they need.
Adam Devine would have been a good Miles too.
Anyways, they're brothers in that movie, and he's kind of a douchey guy. I mean, yeah, he could play the.
I'm not opposed to it, but I'm not crazy
It's not your
about it either.
favorite.
Petra did Brooklyn Decker. She's the girl from Just Go With It with Adam Sandler and Jennifer. He's the girl that he's trying to. That Adam Sandler's trying to.
I feel like I just like her too much.
I
Well,
feel
I
like
feel
I
like
could
that's-
dislike her.
Yes, and I feel like in that movie, even you kind of are like, I like her, but I don't.
Okay, she's not bad.
I feel like she's beautiful, but you don't see or talk to her very much.
She's
You're
a
right.
small
That's
part.
why I didn't
only
cast
hear
her.
like everyone just loves her.
Yeah.
Right. And so I feel like she does give everyone would just love her vibes.
Yours is way better than mine, but I'm going to tell you just to tell you. I picked Amber Heard. That was Johnny Depp's wife.
Oh,
that went
I just
through.
hate her in general.
Yes, that's why I picked her because I was like,
We
people
can
could just
her.
hate her.
Every time she just shows a pinky on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Ashley. I picked Brittany Snow because Anna Kendrick, duh.
Yes, that works.
I know,
That
right?
works. They
Like,
would be
they're-
good friends.
But she's definitely not older than Daphne. They're like similar in age, but I felt like she's the blonde good friend. I don't know. And Anna Kendrick and her have really good chemistry.
They
That was
do have
really
good
the reason why I
chemistry.
chose it. I was like, whatever. Ashley's Brittany Snow. I'm done looking.
Yeah. I put Rose Byrne. She is
She's in Neighbors.
She is, but
She's in
Bridesmaids?
no.
Insidious, Spy,
Something
Instant Family,
Family,
Troy.
Instant Family.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Instant Family. I haven't seen Instant Family.
Oh, it's really sweet. Such a good.
See,
It's so
when-
cute.
It's such a good movie. This fun-loving, like still young, hip, but also I have this kid.
But she's not hip. Her son's name is Mulder.
Who says that's not cool?
All of us.
I feel like she was trying to be cool.
Cool
she
is in
works
the
in
eye
a
of the
library.
beholder.
Like she struck me as a nerdy.
Okay.
Wait,
Okay.
who did you pick?
Anyways, I picked Beanie Feldstein. It's Jonah Hill's
That's
sister.
so sweet. Jonah Hill's sister. Wow, she looks just like Jonah.
Whoa, they do look a lot alike, especially in this picture. That is
Oh, yeah,
Jonah
I wasn't-
Hill
I wasn't looking at
AI'd
that
into
one.
a woman.
Yeah.
I don't hate this.
But you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
All right,
All
ice
right,
drop.
let's move. Ice drop. Let's go. Let's write the cast.
It's crazy how much she looks like Jonah Hill.
So
like, it's
much.
wild.
Yes.
All right, Daphne,
Anna Kendrick.
Yes.
Miles, who's
Milo
yours?
Ventimiglia.
Tyler Blackburn.
I think I like
Tyler Blackburn. You got it. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Ah!
Peter, Austin Butler,
Zac Efron.
Andrew Garfield.
No, okay, so I say
No to
No to
Andrew. Yeah,
Andrew.
that's fine.
I don't like any of the ones we have for Peter, honestly, but so you guys choose.
Zach it is.
Okay.
All right. Zachary.
Petra, Brooklyn Decker, or
Amber Heard.
I
That's
could
fine.
hate
You
them
can
both.
put Brooklyn if you feel better about that. I'm okay with
I
it.
don't have an opinion about.
Yeah, I
either
don't
one of
have
them,
opinion
honestly.
either.
Okay, Ashley, who's
Rose
Ashley?
Byrne.
Rose Byrne.
Brittany Snow, Jonah Hill, and a wig.
Beanie Feldstein.
Brittany Snow's fine.
Brittany
to,
Snow is
to
fine
match
now.
Anna Kendrick.
Okay, all right.
Throughout the novel, Daphne builds a new circle of friends. How do these friendships contribute to her healing process after her breakup with Peter? How does the idea of found family play a role in the story? I wrote, her new friends and found family build her up. Her new relationships with Ashley and Jules give her bonds and allow her to define herself outside of Peter. Miles is an anchor for her, and their fake relationship allows her to retain a sense of control and companionship. Miles' easygoing and caring nature allow Daphne to feel safe and open up again. When Daphne lost Peter, she lost her future and connections for what she envisioned for herself. And her relationships help her realize that family and belonging are not limited to romantic partners. And she builds her self-worth, builds her foundation to imagine a new future on her own terms.
Agreed. I wrote, if it was just falling in love with Miles that was helping her move past the breakup with Peter, it would have just felt like a rebound.
Yeah.
But because of the situation and with Daphne finding a sense of belonging with people outside of a love interest, I think she was able to learn more about herself and who she was without being a couple and morphing into whatever that person needed her to be. She was able to find herself before figuring out how that fit with another person.
I think we all said the same thing. I said the exact same thing. The only thing that I added was that now that I think of it, I think she handled it pretty well. I would have been a mess.
Oh, gosh.
Probably if me and my now husband had separated before the wedding. I can't even imagine what state
Yeah.
I would be in.
Yeah.
For her to have totally had a Carrie and Sex in the City moment and then just go off to find new friends and put herself out there, it was just such a cool thing to see because I don't think I would have done that. I would have been
I think
a
that was
little
partially
recluse.
almost like what we talked about, right? Like she was almost in a state where
She expects bad things to happen.
so it wasn't.
It's
Yeah.
just like starting over again. She's done that. She knows how to start over
Yeah, this
again.
is what
Yes,
I'm
and so
good
she
at.
just like clicked into that
Yes.
so easily.
yeah.
I think in this, it just reminded me how important your friends are because it would take my friends taking me out, reminding me that there's more to life
Yeah.
and reminding me that it's gonna be okay to get through all of that. And I
Yes.
think she had all of that without even realizing it. It just
Right.
kind of naturally happened
Well, it
for her.
happened. Yeah, she didn't have all that, which, gosh, could you imagine going through, like you said, right before I'm getting married, he leaves me and I don't have you guys or.
Yes, I said
Yeah.
this would have been a
Anyone around me?
completely different story if she hadn't found a new group of friends.
Yes, totally.
It would have been probably her sulking and her being depressed and maybe not coming out of her bedroom in Miles's house and Miles, hey, are you going to come out and eat today?
But that's kind of what she did with Miles.
Because he was that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe I would have been the Miles in this story.
Just listening to sad
how I could go
songs
with
and watching sad movies in your room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Funny story delves into themes of heartbreak, but also of healing and starting over. How did Daphne's journey of self-discovery resonate with you, and what lessons did you take from it? I think I just answered it in the previous question a little bit. But what resonated with me is that there will always be difficulties in life, and oftentimes it will catch you when you least expect it. In the end, it is gonna be okay. I think she stayed fairly positive throughout the story. Although she was talking about counting down until she could leave, it showed that running away from the problem isn't always the answer, but dwelling on the issues isn't either. I wrote, you gotta move through the storm to get out of it and see the sun again. You'll get through much quicker if you keep walking versus standing and waiting for the storm to pass. Feel the rain on your face, but move about. Yes, I think that's what resonated with me is just I think that's just kind of how I live personally too, is I try not to dwell on things too much, just move past it. So I think that's why this resonated so much in my heart.
Someone posted a video on social media where it was the fires in LA and then everything burnt to destruction. The mountain, they were like going for a walk and it's just everything was burnt. And then yesterday they went for a walk in that same area and all this new life is growing and it's all green and beautiful and maybe not necessarily prettier than it was before, but the whole point of her posting was to say, even when you feel like life is just being destroyed, once you are out on the other side, I hope that you recognize the beauty of it, because it wouldn't have looked like this if it didn't get burnt down. It's still sad. There's still this sad story, but there's beauty that can be found in the future.
Yes.
Okay, so mine is a long answer, but I wrote, I think before finding my husband, I was Daphne a little bit. Maybe not completely. You know, she kind of, like you said in the summary, I wouldn't have let it get to a point where Petra was even a concern. But so maybe not completely, but I had bad relationships and thought I needed it. It wasn't until I was in a pretty toxic relationship that I started to really look at myself and decide who I wanted to be. The things about me I wanted to change and the things about me I wanted someone to accept me with. Some of them were little, like I have this habit of looking things up on my own. If someone says something I need more information about, and my toxic relationship, I was ridiculed for it because he felt like I didn't trust him or I couldn't just take him for his word. But that was mostly because he was usually wrong. I wanted to make sure that whoever I ended up with was okay with me questioning them and finding my own answers and being curious about whatever it was that they were talking about instead of being offended by it. Unfortunately, I did find someone who was okay with it, but mostly because he doesn't speak unless he knows what he's saying is correct. So most of my searches end with, I had no idea that was real.
Or you both searching because he is exactly like you in that way. So I have been in the moments where he's like, I know the answer, I'm looking at it, and Sunny's like, I don't know, I gotta look at myself.
Yes.
And they're looking at the exact same thing, and just to prove each other right. This is exactly what happens in her relationship.
It is for sure something that I knew about myself. But before the toxic relationship, why is this bad? And I had to explore, was it worth changing?
Yeah.
Or was it something that was just about me and I need you to learn to love that part of me? There were some things that I was like, okay, that's maybe not something that's great. I could do that a little bit better. Patience was one of them. And learning to bend and not being stubborn just because I'm stubborn and want to be right or whatever. There were things about it that was like, okay, that part of me doesn't need to continue to live on in my next relationship. But this part of me is something that is just me, and I need to find someone who will accept it. And I feel like that was what Daphne was going through, was I have always just kind of melded. Me, I'm more of a force, right? I'm trying to meld with you, but really I'm going to force myself in here and not let your cogs work either.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe a stick.
Yeah, exactly. And so I needed to learn how to be more of a cog to meld, whereas Daphne needed to learn to have a little stick.
Yes. No, I think that was great. I think so profound of you to think of it that way. Because I definitely didn't think of it so much so, but I can resonate with some of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I put that this book reinforced lessons that I've found in life being a woman of a certain age.
Of a protected class.
Yeah. I am not protected yet.
Almost. It's
kidding.
crazy.
Just wait. Just wait till I am all the fuckery I'm going to do at work. But I think these lessons are either learned by tough situations or by time and growing with maturity. But healing, she learns that healing isn't linear. Daphne's growth isn't about instantly feeling better, but making small choices every day that rebuild who you are.
Yes.
And self-worth comes from within. Value your own self. Don't let somebody else determine your worth. Your value comes from knowing yourself and trusting your own desires. I think she learns that.
Yeah, there's something to be said about just being confident in yourself, right? Walking about life in your own confidence.
Yeah. And I
One
think
that's attractive.
Well, yeah. But you could always fake it. But I think to like what you said, it's about learning how to be your own force.
Yes.
And then making it work with somebody else.
Yes.
Yeah, and healing is like your own process, because if you think about your anger and your sadness over somebody else's behavior, it's not affecting that person. It's affecting you more than anything else.
Well, I think it's good to do it as a form of reflection, like how you're processing it, but work through it.
Yes.
And get
Like,
to
don't
the other
sit
side.
on it.
No, don't just sit there and be like, he was a dick. Now my whole life sucks. And
Yes.
Peter
Right.
sucks.
Yeah.
But you need to process that information and keep going.
Process it quickly, damn it.
Get through the storm.
Keep walking.
It only took regrowth to happen from the fires in 5 weeks. So you guys
See?
wrap it up.
And that is nature growing. You could move so much faster than that.
Exactly.
Oh, that was a good one. I liked that one.
Yeah.
That
was
was good. Daphne's relationship with her father is strained throughout the novel with underlying tension and unresolved issues. In what ways does her father's influence shape her decisions and views on love and trust? I think we talked about this a lot already because it did play a big part in the way she thought. She questions everyone and sees things as pretty negative a lot of times because her dad taught her that she can't rely on anyone. Unfortunately, Peter really drove that point home. But don't we always fall for our dad in some sort of way?
Yeah.
Some way, yeah.
Yeah. And I think it goes for boys too growing up. Who your father is and how he interacts with your mom, it defines what you start to look for in a partner.
Yeah. It's crazy because my daughter is only 8 months old. She can be sitting somewhere. My husband will come over and kiss me or hug me or do something. And we both look down and she is watching
Yes.
Yeah.
that exact interaction and she is taking it in. And it's just so crazy to think she's so little, but I know that she is observing it.
Yeah.
And I'm just grateful that she's observing a positive thing, right? A man
Yeah.
caring for her mom and loving on her. And she does smile in the moment. So you know that it's sitting with her. Who you are around plays such a big role in how you grow and how you develop, maybe sometimes for the better, right? You learn what you don't want to do. And hopefully that's the case for most people and not reenacting what happens. Because I know some
Well, I
people
think
do that
that
too.
takes some work too. You have to
Oh, yeah.
process that you don't want that.
Yes.
And have that be a bad example to not follow.
To break the cycle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can't wait until my girls are teenagers and they're going to be sick of us.
Seriously.
Right now, I usually say goodbye to him, hug, kiss, and then I'll go over to my husband, hug, kiss, if he's awake. If he's not, I leave and I'll just say, love you guys, bye. My son will remind me, you forgot daddy. All right, bye, sleeping body.
Yeah. You won't know that I said goodbye, but I did say goodbye.
But you do it because I want him to have that good example.
I want him to have the example. Yes.
And he lights up when it happens, right? Like
Yes.
you can tell that they
feel their
Yes.
love radiating in
Yes.
the air.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look
It's
at
so
us
sweet.
with our stable home,
I know.
loving relationships.
Oh gosh. I'll just add a little bit. We talked about how like it caused her not to trust, but I think in some way it also had her clinging to Peter a little bit, like craving that family that she didn't have in the beginning, right? She, I think, knew the relationship wasn't all that great, but she kind of clung to it.
Yeah.
They were going to form this family and that was what she really wanted. That's kind of the tough part about being an adult is how much of what you are carrying from your childhood do you bring with you as an adult? And where do you draw the line between letting it guide you because experience and leaving it behind because it's no longer serving you? How do you navigate that? And I don't know if there's an answer to it. It's a tough one. And that I think is where this last question kind of resonated with me because how I'm navigating that in my real life now.
Right. Yeah.
How much of it do I want to carry with me to use as an example and how much of it is not serving me anymore and do I need to let go?
Yeah. And letting go is not always easy.
No. I just wrote Daphne is the definition of daddy issues. Her unstable relationship with her father really shaped her world. But this is similar to what you guys wrote. She's seeking stability. She's afraid of being vulnerable. And she avoids conflicts. And she really, like you said, like working through it to leave it behind. Right. Like her mom showed her how to do. With Ashley, she doesn't. She's like, I need to figure out how to fix it.
That's a good point.
Jesus.
After her mom says, that's not the right way to do this.
Yes.
I taught you wrong.
Yeah.
Let me try and make this better now.
Which is also wise for your parent to come back and go, hey, I know I did it wrong. So here's the right way. Don't make my mistake.
That was my parents. They were both drug addicts. And growing up, it was definitely not a good household. But then they got clean and sober and came to me and said, yeah, we did that way wrong.
My bad.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
we're trying to make it better now.
Yeah.
Please don't follow our path. Because we took a really long path to
Hard
get,
left turn.
Yes, to only come back and go, wow, all of this was not even necessary. I think that is part of parenting as well. Good parenting. Recognizing like I really jacked that up.
Owning it.
Owning
some
it.
accountability to the fact
Which is
that
what I hope her dad did.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
After she told him, you suck, he maybe did some self-reflection and went back and was like, I'm going to try and be better now.
Also, random side note, we talked a little bit about library science on our summary. So, because that's what you have to study to be a librarian. And so I wanted to know, what is the studies of library science? Like, what exactly goes into it? The core areas of study is information, organization, and retrieval, cataloging and classification. Well, it does say Dewey Decimal System here. Metadata, information architecture, information literacy and instruction, research methods, instructional design, user studies. There's a lot. Some of the career paths that you can take, aside from just the librarian, is an archivist, information
Scribe. We got so excited for that.
Yeah, you did.
Sign me up.
Back to school we go.
Give me that cream hooded garb.
And my quill. Information manager, knowledge management specialist, digital asset manager.
I feel like I'm a knowledge management specialist just by being a mom and a wife.
being a
Everything
woman.
I do, really.
Yeah, sign me up.
And an instructional designer, creating and delivering information literacy instruction. I was so fascinated with that as a field of study. So I needed to look a little deeper into it because I might go back for my master's in library science. I'm just kidding.
Dang. Okay, that's a wrap on Funny Stories Book Club. Next week, we're reading Nightingale. So go ahead and start reading that. If you had as much fun as we did, make sure you subscribe to our episode. We release a new one every Wednesday.
Yeah, rate and review. It helps the book nerds and the booze lovers find our show.
And keep the conversation going by following us on our social media at Lit on the Rocks Pod on Instagram and TikTok, and on our website, literatureontherocks.com.
Until next time, may your books be long and your cocktails be strong. Cheers.
Toodaloo.
Bye.